Now let me discuss the income elasticity or demand and also the cross elasticity in this video presentation. Firstly, the income elasticity of demand. Income elasticity or demand says the responsiveness of quantity demanded to a change in income. So very simple, it says that elasticity of income is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in income. So we can also write it as like the change in quantity demanded to the change in income. Income is represented by y, that into y by q. So now there are different interpretations of this elasticities of income elasticity. Say for example, elasticity of income is equal to 1, which means that the income spent on the good remains same as income increases. Say for example, the income of the household, say for example the income increases by 7%, and the demand for the commodity also increases by 7%. So in this case the income elasticity is going to be 1. So which says that the income spent on the good remains the same as the income increases. So whatever the absolute amount of the income that we are spending on the commodity, they always remain the same as the income increases, or the proportion of the income that we spend on the commodity remains the same as the income increases. The elasticity of income is going to be equal to 1. The second case where the elasticity of income or y is greater than 1. Now if the proportion of income spent on good increases as income increases, though elasticity of income is going to be greater than 1. Which means, suppose I was spending 10% of my income on a particular good, now I'm going to spend more, say for example 12% or 13%. In such a scenario, the elasticity is going to be greater than 1. Say for example, if I'm spending 20% on a commodity when the income increased by 10%. So the quantity demanded increased by 20% when the income increased by 10%. In this case it is 20 by 10, which is equal to 2. So the elasticity of income is greater than 1. Now the last scenario where the income elasticity is less than 1, income elasticity is going to be less than 1, where the proportion of income spent on the good decreases as income increases. Now say for example I am spending 5%, the quantity demanded, there is an increase in the demand by 5% when the income increased by 10%. So in this case 5 by 10, which is equal to 0.5, so the income elasticity is going to be less than 1. Now let me consider the case of cross elasticity. Cross elasticity is applicable when we calculate the elasticity of related commodities. We have already talked about this, that related commodities are either complementary goods or they are substitutes. We have also talked about that in case of a substitutes, let me draw up the graph for you. Suppose I'm taking the quantity demanded of tea and the price of coffee. So we get a positive sloped graph. In case of a complementary good, say for example, we take price over here and the price here and the quantity here. Suppose I'm taking two complementary goods. I'm taking ink or quantity of ink and price of pen. So in this case I will get a downward sloping graph. We have already talked about this. Now let me talk about how to actually calculate the elasticity in this case. Now the cross elasticity is equal to change in quantity of X divided by change in price of Y into price of Y divided by quantity of X. Now for the substitute it can be like this. Cross elasticity over here will be change in quantity of ink divided by change in price of coffee into price of coffee divided by quantity of ink. Now in case of the complementary goods, cross elasticity will be equal to change in quantity of ink by the change in price of pen into price of pen divided by quantity of ink. So this is the way how we actually calculate the cross elasticity. So we know that in case of substitutes there will be a positive elasticity, whereas in case of complementary goods there will be a negative elasticity.